Welcome to the Retay Roundtable podcast, brought to you by Retay USA. I'm your host, Jesse.
Hey, I'm trying to record a podcast over here.
So why switch to Retay?
Sounds like real.
I have a big problem, Will. Big problem. Big. I think everybody in the outdoor world right now is seeing the same thing happen. Okay, we've seen a lot of stuff come by this past week. I know Michael Waddell put a pretty lengthy post out about it. I know there's a lot of other companies out there, not ourselves. I mean, really, this doesn't. PSA, public service announcement number 1 here. This does not reflect anything on the opinions and stance of Retay as a company. Okay?
Right.
This is my opinion, Jesse Heiling, your opinion, Will White. We're probably going to say some things that you may not like. We're probably going to say some things that you can agree with or you disagree with. This is just our opinion. This public service announcement is literally going to be titled, "Don't Be That Guy."
Period.
Right? Don't be that guy. So we're seeing a lot of things come across. And we've touched on this with Michael Lee. We've touched on it with Billy and Dennis. We touched on it with Jeff Burton. Social media, to me, in the outdoor industry, is undeniably the number one way that we can communicate information and drive the brand, right?
Right.
With that being said, social media also has ups and downs with getting new hunters involved. Bringing new people to understand, not maybe even somebody that doesn't want to get into hunting, but maybe they can understand a little bit better why we do what we do. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Right.
We're not out there just trying to kill innocent animals for no reason, and all the stereotypical things you could hear, right? The one thing I have a problem with, and we've said this a million times on this podcast, and this is only the 5th or 6th episode.
Right.
We've said it a bunch of times. We are one community. Okay? I don't care if we're one community that gets along, likes each other, whatever, but we're one community that overall, we shed the light out to everybody else that is really against us.
Right.
Okay? Maybe they don't have the same opinion as we do, which is fine. That's why they have red and blue. That's why they make Chevys and Fords. That's why they vote politically different. It's okay to be different.
Right.
What's not okay is to try to be that guy who continuously berates other people, talks down to young hunters. Maybe we've heard the horror stories of waterfowl, right? The guys who go into public ground and they're just like berated by a group of guys, whatever it may be. If you hunt deer differently, if you hunt waterfowl differently, we're in turkey season. This is the first week of Maryland's turkey season.
Right.
I'm pretty much done with turkey season already in the state of Maryland because of social media.
Yeah.
Our youth day on Saturday should be like the most glorified day of the year. I am going to soapbox this so bad. And we haven't even talked about this. Side note here, Will has no idea why I'm kicking off this podcast and having this discussion. Our Maryland Youth Turkey Day was on Saturday. That should be the most glorified day of the year. As a hunter, it's 3 days a year, right? You get a youth turkey season. You get a youth waterfowl season, which we'll get into because the state of Maryland, for once, actually did a really cool thing last year about that. And then you get a youth deer hunting season.
Right.
Season by, I mean day, right? 2 days maybe if you hunt in an area that can hunt Sundays. I seen more posts from these jackals that are out there downing kids about shooting a Jake. Or, hey, they shot a 410 with TSS. Or they hunted out of a blind. They hunted with decoys. Shut up. Shut up.
Right.
These are 8, 9, 10, 12-year-old kids who, for some of them, this was their first bird. This was their first time experiencing hunting with their fathers, their uncles, their grandfathers, their cousins. Or, hey, by the way, National Wild Turkey Federation, props. Clapping to you right now. In the state of Maryland runs multiple programs. My buddy Russ Leaf in the Monocacy Valley chapter up in Frederick County, in Carroll County,
right,
had and all the other guys, Lee Jernigan, and all these guys who also take time out of their day to put on. I mean, they had like 30 kids up there this year.
Right.
A lot of these guys are putting these kids on their own property because these kids don't have anywhere to hunt.
Exactly.
By the way, they're not paying a lease. They're 8 years old, for God's sake, right? This is their first year hunting. Stop being that guy who wants to jump out and berate a kid. No one cares, Donnie. No one cares what you have to say. And I'm sorry to put it that way.
And it's the start of it. I mean, it could be the start of the best thing for any of them.
100%.
Or the end.
Why, as a kid?
Right.
Now, granted, hopefully these kids aren't on social media. Hopefully. I can only pray that kids aren't on social media. We know that's not true.
Right.
But, like, even for a father or an uncle or a cousin or a mother who's getting their kid involved into hunting,
exactly,
they have to now put up with you being that guy and telling everybody how you should be hunting.
Right.
There's one person that can tell us how we should be hunting. And it's not a person, it's a group. Your state-sanctioned outdoor programs, whether it's DNR, what are some of the other ones called? Natural resources, NRPs, whatever it is. There's a reason your job is not setting seasons and structure to a hunting season.
Right.
Do we all agree with it?
No.
Look at Maryland.
Right.
Our waterfowl season, Will. It's non-existent pretty much.
Yeah, it's getting worse and worse.
Right? Now, we can have opinions on that.
Right.
But do we have to go berate somebody?
No.
Because they don't think the same way we do?
No, what are you going to do about it?
First off, everybody, hey, you want to go back to COVID and everything else that was politically going on? Trust the science, right?
Right.
Do I personally think that there's some archaic surveying tactics in the waterfowl world? I do.
Yeah.
Do I think we could be a lot? Look, we can literally send a text message around the world in 0.2 seconds. But for some reason, we can't survey birds other than just going to the same place at the same time. Whatever that is, right? Yeah. A lot of factors come into that. What I'm getting to is that if that was your job to set the laws and the rules, you would probably be that person who would be qualified. Not Timmy from Toontown,
right,
who's over here telling everybody, you should, how we can get the population back up in ducks and geese and turkeys and deer. We should ban TSS. Yeah. We should ban tungsten.
Or kids from shooting jakes.
If there was a hard fact of why you shouldn't shoot a jake, do you think it would be legal?
No.
Right. This people live their entire lives, and you can say whatever you want to about natural resources police, game wardens, whatever, right? They all have a job to do.
Right.
And some of their jobs is to make these rules. If they thought, not we, because we're not that smart. Flat out, we're not that smart. This is just a personal opinion. I'm going to say that 100 times. Personal opinion.
Clear the air on that one.
If we were that smart, we would be setting the laws and regulations.
Right.
But we're not, Daryl.
No.
Okay? TSS. Great comment come through, and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Comments have been coming through. We're working with NWTF right now because there is a problem that has been scientifically proven that over the past 15 years, there's been a 10 to 15% decline in overall population of turkeys in the U.S. Okay?
Right.
A lot of factors there. We got to remember, there's turkeys in places that have dry weather. There's turkeys in places that have forest fires. There's turkeys in places that have like a coyote per person.
Right.
Or a fox per person.
Right.
Right? But because you know what else? We don't predator hunt anymore.
Nope.
Some people do. But when my granddad, go back to him all the time, right? He was a wealth of knowledge in the hunting world. But in his day, they were making like $25-$30 a pelt. Yeah. It was worth going and trapping and killing predators.
Now it costs you about $25 or $30 a pelt.
If not more, right? So, and there's a reason why we have an uptick. And what's the first guy going to do? Corey the conspiracist over here is about, well, the DNR put them out there and they're killing all the turkeys. That's what they want to happen.
Right.
But stop. Okay? If there was a reason they were put there, I'm sure there's a reason why they were put there.
Exactly.
Okay? Maybe it's overpopulation of deer in areas that are not only just hurting themselves, but they're killing people on our roads.
Right.
We live in a very populous area in Maryland. Frederick County, Maryland, where I came from, there was not a day where there wasn't a deer hit somewhere within a community probably. Because they're overpopulated. Okay?
Too many.
Now, jump back. You know what the state of Maryland did? They had an unlimited doe season for years now.
Right.
You could kill as many does as you wanted to.
Right.
Because they were trying to drop the population. Do you know who didn't make that rule? Me or you?
Couldn't.
We couldn't, right? Because they have a reason why.
Right.
Okay? We're not saying we're just like the Maryland DNR is God, right? But we are saying that there's reasons they do things.
Right.
The reason that Tommy Toughnuts over here is telling us we should ban TSS is a personal opinion of his, which is fine. Have that opinion.
We're all entitled.
We're all 100%. But do you need to be the guy that jumps on and berates a kid or another person about shooting TSS? Guess what? If TSS was bad, do you think it'd be outlawed?
Right.
It'd be gone.
One would think.
Now, let me say this about TSS. Do you know why 15 years ago when you watch a hunting show, they'd pull the trigger, what was the first thing they'd do? Get up and run, right?
Right.
Because a lot of times, those loads weren't enough to kill a bird.
Right.
Even inside of 30. I'm a guy, like my personal opinion, I like to kill a bird tight.
Absolutely.
Because I want to win the game, right?
Right.
Do you know who maybe doesn't agree with that? Half of the other turkey population hunters out there.
Exactly.
Right? So I don't care about that kind of stuff. But what TSS has done is giving you the ability to, one, make a much more clean kill.
Right.
But it's extending the distance, Jesse. What are you talking about? But okay, but you can still only kill your 2 birds in the state of Maryland.
Right.
I don't care if you do it with a 50 BMG.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
If that's what you want to do.
If that's what you want, if that's what you're like, man, I've always wanted to shoot one with a blowgun. And you can ethically do that because ethics are not a conversation of debate.
No.
Ethics are ethics, right?
Right.
So why does it matter what I kill my turkey with?
It should.
Because I'm not killing more turkeys because of that.
Right.
Hey, no matter how you look at it, you can say whatever you want to until science tells me that there's more turkeys being killed because of TSS. If that's the case, it will be banned.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it going to be banned? No, dummy. It's not going to be banned because what it's done now, it's also brought a lot of young hunters into the turkey world.
Right.
Could you shoot a 410 when you were a kid at a turkey?
Not ethically.
Not ethically, right? Because, I mean, say that you get a bird hung at 25. That might have been your stint there. I mean, you're like
maybe
25 is a chip shot for a kid now.
Right.
With TSS.
Right.
Okay? So we're getting more people involved.
Right. Not to mention the added, stress or anything else getting a turkey that close to a kid to begin with.
What does your heart do when that bird fires off?
It's hard enough for me.
We're human,
right?
But you gotta kill enough turkeys and you'll be fine. The day that I kill enough turkeys to where I don't get fired up about it, I'm gonna quit it like I did deer hunting. Right.
Yep.
Now that'll come back around for me with Levi, with Rose getting out there.
Yeah.
Right. It's gonna happen.
It's a new outlook.
It's a new outlook on life. Okay. But what I cannot stand to hear is guys who want to say their piece by berating somebody else.
Right.
The waterfowl world, we are our worst enemies.
Every one of us.
Let me ask you this. In the past 5 years, now take guiding out of it because we knew you guided parties and everything else.
Right.
How many new people do you think you have taken waterfowl hunting? And I know the answer to at least 1 or 2 of these because I've hunted with those guys.
Right.
With you, right? Your brother-in-law.
Right.
Not a hunter.
No.
Just learning his ropes this year.
Very much.
Hilariously.
Yeah.
It's funny, right? Because we give him so much crap about it.
And he takes it.
Because he's a good guy, right? And that's why you brought him in, to be a part of your hunting crew.
Yeah. Outside of the guiding thing, probably, not many.
Not many, right?
No matter how hard you try, there's not that many willing to want to get out there and do it.
That's a very good argument, right? And I agree with that. Now, Joseph Hetrick, I hope you're listening. I'm calling him out, right?
Right.
He sent me one of the coolest text messages in the world early on when we started the podcast.
Uh-huh.
He said, hey, man, when you guys were talking about getting new people involved, it kind of hit me. I was that guy for you.
Right.
Because Joseph was young, man. He didn't have a driver's license.
Right.
He was family to my best friends, and Joseph become a really good friend of mine.
Right.
But we'd go pick him up at 4:00 in the morning. Nobody in his house was up. Nobody. And he'd be sitting on the porch, man, waiting to go. And it hit him. He was like, man, you guys did that for me. And that was that was the biggest compliment in the world for me to hear that. Because that's what we're supposed to do. If we don't,
it's
never,
over. Yeah, it's never going to get to be anything.
It's over.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, if you don't have hunters, you don't have. By the way, here's a big ticket word. All the funny Instagram guys out there be like, oh, well, you wear this kind of camo and you're talking about conservation, right?
Right.
Conservation was started in the 40s, derelict.
Right.
Okay, it's not something that's just fabricated.
No.
There's a reason conservation became a thing.
Right.
And unless we're a part of it by Pittman Roberts. Do we want to go down the Pittman Roberts tunnel here?
We can go down a lot of tunnels.
Well, I'm just saying, like, so there's a reason why when you pay the tax, I have no problem paying the tax on firearms, hunting gear, ammunition, all that stuff.
Absolutely not.
That goes back into the reason that we're doing it in the first place, which is conservation of an animal of a species, whatever else. You can say whatever you want to about where that money goes, and then you get the Midwest guys who are like, we're just making corn poundments for everybody. You know, it's all their big wigs.
Right.
Well, you know what? Can I 100% deny that? No, I can't. You know why? Because I don't have an actual like proven hard fact that says that they don't.
Right.
Okay. But what I can tell you is that DU does more for the waterfowl population in the world, not just here,
everywhere,
than any single entity that's out there. You can agree with what they do. You can disagree with their policies. You can disagree with a lot of things, but you cannot deny that without them, who's putting in? And everybody's like, well, it goes to Canada. Where do you think your birds come from, Donnie?
Yeah.
They come from Canada, right? So there's so many different avenues that guys just fly off the handle and want to and talk about.
But don't take the time to sit back and like figure it out or look into it.
Education.
Right. Educate yourself. And then make an informed opinion. That's fine. Is there a lot of people that put dumb things on the internet? Sure.
90% of it.
I'm guilty of it. At some point in time, I'm sure.
I'm 100%. But can you deny the fact that a person who wants to berate anybody is a person who is only hurting us as a community?
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no other way that we can look at it without coming together. Are we ever going to come together as a whole and be like one big happy family?
No,
of course not. We know that, but you don't need to do. I've seen more in this past 2 weeks. Like, it's just getting worse, right? Like, the one cool thing is that it seems to be that we have a growing population of hunters.
Right.
Okay. In a percentile of growth in population and the growth in hunting population, it's not really there. I mean, like, it should have exploded if that's the case, right?
Right.
And everybody's like, well, 20 years ago, we had more hunters. Well, we may have had more hunters, but we also had probably a tenth of the population that we had 20 years ago. Like,
right.
Or I'm sorry, an additional tenth to the
whatever
population.
That difference is, right?
So here you go again. The one thing that we saw last year, and this is going political, 8 million new gun owners.
Right.
Okay. Now, for a fact, because I have checked this and talked to these people, do you know that DU's not seen 8 million new people come in?
Nope.
NWTF has not seen 8 million new people come in.
Nope.
I'm stumbling over all these different brands that are out there. Rocky Mountain Elk, Quail Forever, Pheasant Forever, Trophy Trout, like everything's out there, but we're not seeing that grow. That's our population of people that now are gun owners in the hunting world. May not be in the hunting world. Maybe there was 8 million additional pistols bought. I have no idea.
Right.
But you got to think that there's a population percentage out there that is new hunters.
Especially out of 8 million. I mean, that's not a little number.
That's not a little number, right? And maybe it's just the whole state of California. I have no idea. But like,
right.
there's a number that is growing that doesn't coincide with the hunting population.
Right.
My thought is that we're doing it to ourselves.
Probably.
We're making it hard for people to get involved. Now, the government doesn't help that either. The landlocked stuff out in the Midwest, and I'm not a Midwest guy. I'm an East Coast guy. I'm from Maryland. Just in the past couple of years, been able to travel throughout the country and see a lot of these different places, right? Public land. What did we do yesterday morning? Where did I hunt?
Public.
I hunted public land because we have the availability to do so by the state of Maryland making public land available for us. Now, granted, first thing, I know there's going to be somebody out there that comments on this. Maryland should have more public land.
Right.
Listen, Donnie, we don't have the same surface area that Montana does.
Right.
We're not going to have millions of acres.
But it's got a considerable amount. You just got to look for it.
You got to look for it.
I will say that Maryland doesn't do the best job putting it out there for you to find. But
totally
if you
agree.
dig and actually put some time into it, you can find it.
You can find it, right? And it may not be listed under WMAs. It may not be listed under like public hunting. But the place that we hunted yesterday, is Chesapeake forest land.
Right.
Okay, that if you look by clicking one additional page, pretty much, it'll tell you, and
Right.
it was 4,000 acres. We went out there and hunted yesterday, and we saw 3 trucks.
Right.
Now, it was a Tuesday, and it was, by the way, it probably was smart to not hunt yesterday because it was like 40 degrees at noon, and the wind was blowing Mach 3.
Right.
But like, it's available for you,
It's
right?
there.
Now, in the Midwest, the West Coast, all those areas that have landlocked, or public ground
Right.
from private landowners,
Right.
man, I'm in that. I'll go in that fight with you guys. That's a great fight to be a part of because that is our land, right?
Right.
Public land is our land. We legitimately pay money for those lands to be maintained,
Accessible.
So just because you have 4 people that buy ground on the outside of a public land doesn't make it those 4 people's now private property,
Right.
right? So we can get way down a road with that one, right? And this is, like I said, PSA, don't be that guy. This comes back to the social media stuff.
Right.
So we'll give you the benefit.
But even though we don't, directly, me and you, Jesse,
Yeah.
don't deal with something like that here, it's definitely something that maybe we should look into talking to someone who does have to deal with it.
Absolutely. And there's, I'm sure, a ton of people that have,
Gotta be.
look how big those states are. Now, their populations aren't the same. Like, look at Montgomery County, Maryland.
Right.
Somebody can go pull the population of Montgomery County, Maryland. It's that of, like, some major states.
Right.
Right outside of D.C.,
Right.
Montgomery, PG County, Frederick County, Howard County, all those, they're very, very populated. And you know what you're not going to have? A lot of public access there.
Right.
Because there's legitimately no ground left.
Right.
Okay? In Montana, in Wyoming, in Colorado, and in Idaho, there's everything, right?
Right.
So I do want to talk to somebody about that, and I think I have a guy in mind who would be a really good asset for us to talk to down the road. Getting back to our simple conversation, how can we? And this is, I'm looking for answers right now, right? Because one of the most powerful guys out there is Michael Waddell, man. I've met Michael quite a few times, and I think he's a solid dude.
Right.
And he cares about the future of what's happening, right? He's
Yeah.
a leading voice of that. So, like, it takes somebody like him to stand up. And by the way, repost of that comment section that he had, I couldn't flip through social media, but that's also my bubble.
Right.
Okay, how do we extend that bubble? Because I can say it. Some people will be like, well, I don't like Michael Waddell. He hunts inside of a high fence all the time. Or like whatever all the stigmas are about these people. We
Right.
talked to Michael Lee about it.
Yep.
Him getting berated for taking Brantley and those guys going on a hunt.
Who cares?
Who cares? Right? If you have a limit set, there's a reason for that limit.
Right.
Whether it be with a bow or with a gun or with whatever it may be.
There's a reason behind it.
There's a reason behind it. You know what?
An educated reason behind it.
100%. With that being said, how can we expand this conversation? I don't know. I wish we could take callers. I wish it was like Love Line with Dr. Oz or something. Like a caller 2. How do you think we can extend it? The only way, and look, we may not reach 1 billion people.
No.
But like, how can we start the conversation to just say, hey, look, guys, we are hurting ourselves?
I don't know. That's the frustrating point. Part of all of it is finding that one.
Because if we use social media, what's going to happen?
You're going to get bashed.
You're going to get bashed about it. Right? So it's like, how do we reach out to these guys? I don't care. And I'll say every major brand out there. We're all in this together because I know it's not just us. I see stuff all the time. They're like, oh, those rebate guns, they're terrible.
Right.
And then you see the same thing about any other brand. Mossberg, Remington, Beretta, Benelli. Right. That's fine.
It's all opinion.
It's all opinions. And then you have the Ford and Chevy guys. Look at the stickers that were on the trucks in the 90s. All these little dudes peeing all over the Ford and Chevy logos. That's fine. It's berating. We get that. Okay? But guess who's not hurting? The auto industry.
Right.
Like, they don't care if you don't like Ford or Chevy. They're going to put as many trucks out on the lot or cars out on the lot, and they're going to sell every one of them, especially right now, by the way. Hey, new F-250 Super Duty. Thanks for not having a lot of inventory that they need to use truck. Made a great deal. Hey, by the way, if you need to buy a truck right now, you might want to see how much your trade-in's worth because they're stupid about giving money away.
Yeah, it's crazy. The world we live in right now is crazy in many ways.
Yeah, so go to Camo. I don't even want to. I really don't want to.
No.
So go to Camo. Your real trees, your mossy oaks, the Sitka guys, that world, there's a legitimate, and I can't even imagine how this ever became a thing in the hunting industry. There is a legitimate site that I've seen on Instagram that is dedicated just to making fun of Sika guys. Right?
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Is it funny? I mean, I get a chuckle every now and then.
Sure.
Right? What does it matter?
Doesn't.
It doesn't matter. Because you
At
know
all.
why? Because every single person that's out there hunting that has a lineage of hunting in their family, do you know who did not care? Their granddads. And for most likely, their dads.
Their dads.
They didn't even have camo. For God's sake, these dudes were smoking Marlboros in jeans and a red flannel jacket
Yeah.
during deer season. They didn't care.
I didn't even have to stretch out to granddad on that one. That was dad.
Well, there you go. There's your dad, right? My uncles and those guys, like they were like when it first came around, they looked like a bunch of just goobers walking out there.
Yep.
Because they just got whatever was cheap. Now, granted, I can tell you right now, from my lifetime, being 12 years old, freezing my butt off in a set of like, $18 overalls because
Right.
they were terrible.
Right.
Going to put a $200 jacket on, now look at the price inflation of everything else that's going on.
Right.
Are some of the prices high? Of course they are. I can sit now, I can stand in freezing water
Right.
for 10 hours and be perfectly comfortable. You could not do that comfortably 20 years ago.
Right.
So why are we killing each other on this stuff? What does it matter? I gotta have an answer, man. I'm racking my brain on this stuff.
I'm the same way. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't have the answer because I just don't understand the
I don't
mentality.
understand either. But I want to get I want to like almost get somebody on here. Like I want to call out one of these guys.
Yeah.
I really do. Be like, welcome to the podcast. Like whatever. Like, and just be like,
Something,
why?
right.
Why do you feel the need to tell a kid who shot his first bird, what are you shooting a jig for? Like, why? Why are we doing that?
You almost have to in order to get. I don't even know. I was going to say you almost have to reach out to that person to get a better understanding as to why, but I don't even think at the end of it you're going to understand any better.
If you were such an elite outdoorsman, okay, that
Right.
you care about a kid shooting a jig, which, by the way, ain't on a property you can hunt.
Right.
Dummy. Like, it's not like he's hunting on your property, first off.
Stealing
okay?
my birds.
You're right. Like, so why the need, I guess, is what I want to know. Why the need to hurt the feelings of these guys? We see it all the time in waterfowl. Waterfowl's the worst. I'll be blatantly honest. But now it's creeping into turkey hunting. It's creeping into deer hunting. Like
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, right? Like some guys just like to bow hunt.
Right.
I was one of those guys. I got to the point where I was like, man, I like to bow hunt. It was fun to me. If back then I would have put a picture up of bow hunting in January, somebody'd be like, oh, hipster hunter out there, where's your Sika vest at? Because you're bow hunting in January.
Right.
What does it matter to you? What does it matter if that kid shoots one of his 2 birds in the state of Maryland, okay?
Right.
During Youth Day,
Right.
which is his opportunity to hunt without you running around, Chuck Norris and all the turkeys out from underneath of everybody that you think you do. Though that does not hurt your chances to go. Guess what? If anything, all it did was give you an opportunity to go shoot another tom because he didn't kill a tom.
Right. Well, my question is, why aren't the youth allowed to shoot hens?
Man, just because it
Stir
has a
that
beard,
pot with that. You know
just
what I
because
mean?
it has a beard, you can kill it. Well, and I get the understanding of, especially with Youth Day, like shooting a bearded hen. Like I know people who have shot hens and didn't know any better.
Right.
You ever
I
seen
just mean in general. I think they should be able to shoot whatever.
Now there is a population thing that comes into play with that,
Right.
right? Because we are trying to revive a population. We
Right.
know that, right?
Right.
And I get that. Maybe if the science and the numbers stood behind it, great example. The reason we can't shoot hens right now is because there's a reason why we're trying to look at the population as a whole,
Right.
and grow that because we obviously need hens, right?
Right.
So that's a great example of why we can't do something.
Right.
Okay. Now, if we could shoot hens because there was an abundance of hens in the country,
Right.
and we're like, hey, by the way, there's hens out here getting hit by cars. Motorcyclists are dying because hens are running in the road because they got nothing else to do. Funny story. Our manufacturer in Turkey, right? So Retay Turkey.
Right.
Funny, they don't have turkeys in Turkey. Okay? They've never seen a turkey. They don't understand what our obsession with this bird is. I was asked when I was in the factory last year. They said we don't understand, what are these birds, nuisance? Why are we making so many turkey guns for these people?
Right.
Like are they running around the streets? And I'm just laughing to myself the whole time. Like, that's somebody who doesn't have an understanding of turkey hunting.
No.
We're a diehard breed of turkey. Like, don't get me wrong, like, diehard breed. Passionate people about turkey hunting. And I know some of the most passionate guys in the world.
Right.
Does it matter if they run a Jake fan around? Does it matter if they have a decoy? Does it matter if they have tungsten? Does it matter if they shoot steel? Does it matter if they decide to go shoot a bird with a bow ethically to try to make a harvest on an animal? That because they can. That's their thing. They want to do it.
Right.
Because the one thing that doesn't matter is that if you shoot more birds than your limit, what have you become? A criminal.
Right.
Okay?
An outlaw.
You're an outlaw. So you're not going to follow anybody's standard guidelines anyway.
No.
It's the same thing. Gun legislation right now is off the roofs, right? We're just off our rockers. Like,
Right.
I don't understand. We are now trying to make laws that already have laws for them.
Right.
So let's do this. If we want people to stop killing people with firearms, let's make a law where it makes it illegal to kill people. Oh, wait, we already do. It's called murder.
Right.
Right? So, like, how does that stop? It's the same thing in hunting.
Right. And the only...
I told you I was just fired up this morning, man.
Right.
I had some time. We were going through social media, and it just blows my mind, man. There's so many people out there that just decide that they're just gonna, ruin somebody's day.
It's literally probably the most frustrating thing in the outdoors industry.
Yeah.
Whether it be hunting, fishing, anything
fishing.
right now. Dude, I mean, you don't even touch on that, and still
with our fisheries the way they are right now,
right.
And now you want to talk about something that I don't agree with? Let's talk about something that I don't agree with.
Sure.
We overlook a lot of facts that potentially could impact a population,
right,
because of a driven dollar.
Right.
We're seeing it in Maryland.
Big time,
right?
Big time.
When you grew up as a charter captain, your family made money off of this, bringing people that didn't have by the way, here we go. Going on an outfitted hunt and going on a chartered fishing trip are the same thing.
Right.
Okay? Some do it for pleasure and enjoyment.
Right.
Because they don't have the opportunity to buy a $100,000 boat.
Exactly.
And go troll around the bay.
Right.
Some do it because they don't have a sustainable population of ducks or geese or turkeys or deer or whatever.
Right.
So they go on a guided hunt. Do not berate a guy because he goes on a guided trip.
No.
Like, that is the most absurd thing in the world, to me, at least.
I do it everywhere we go, on family vacations.
Absolutely.
I mean,
you're paying it back to these.
I did it here and I do it there.
Great example, right? You and I could probably put the connections together to go offshore fish anytime we wanted to.
Right.
Simply.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, like I know within one phone call,
we
can go on an offshore trip tomorrow.
Yep.
Why not be a part of the solution and help these guys? Why not pay your money if you want to go do it to support someone's family, for God's sake?
It doesn't, anything otherwise doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, just
the guide stuff, have one bad fishing trip with somebody.
Right.
You're going to hear about it all over Facebook.
It's the only one you're going to hear about.
The only one. You can go out and catch everything in the ocean. You could catch a unicorn sea trout. One, and have the best day of your life. And you'll be like, hey, look what I caught. You don't mention the guide. You don't mention the boat. You don't mention the captain. Nope. Nothing. But you have one hunt or one fishing trip that's not like bang up for your dollar what you think of. By the way, these are wild animals.
Right.
Wild animals. Okay. For the most part, if you go to a fenced-in hunting land, right, high fence, you're still going for the reason to do the exact same thing that somebody else is doing.
Right.
Now, guess what you're not doing also in a high fence? Hurting a population of wild game.
Right.
Ding. So what are we, like?
Well, not only that, but, I mean, if you just take the whole high fence, like, who cares? If you got the money to pay for it, then who cares?
Who cares, right?
But you're paying, the money being paid is going to that family. I mean,
maybe it's going into
it's somebody's job.
Literally somebody's job. Do we go? It's almost idiotic that we have to even have this conversation.
Yeah.
Like when the pizza guy delivers a pizza to your house,
right?
Most people, and I think everyone's guilty of this, probably looks down upon that profession.
Right.
It's like, oh, that guy must be struggling. He's delivering pizzas.
Right.
But as human beings, If someone's in a position, what if I went and delivered pizzas? Do I need to deliver pizzas? No. Maybe I wanted to buy something. Maybe I have a want in my life.
Right.
Right. And I'm like, man, I can kick a little extra cash on the side.
The only way I can do it is by
delivering pizzas. Because
Right.
that's the only thing in my area.
Right.
Why do we need to look down upon that guy?
No.
Same thing goes for guides, fishing charters, everything else. Like,
Right.
why do we need to down somebody because of their profession? These guys are, look, coming back, is there a lot of bad pizza drivers out there? Probably.
Yeah.
Should get fired. Maybe they spit on your pizza. I don't know.
There's some sketchy ones in town that I
Super
question.
sketchy. Yeah. But same thing goes for guides. And we're not saying like every charter captain's the best. We're not saying every guide is the best. And some people probably forget why they're doing things and they're in it for the money.
Right.
Which is a bad situation, right? Have that conversation within your circle of friends.
Right.
Do we need to, because like we said, there's only, what is the saying? Like there's two sides to every story and then there's the truth.
Right.
Right. So we don't know what goes into these things. We see I see them all the time, especially in the waterfowl world, but I've seen it on the deer side and the turkey side too. Don't go to this guide. We went out and spent 10 hours out there for 3 days and didn't shoot but 3 mallards.
Right.
Well, guess what? Maybe the guy didn't have any birds, right? Hopefully, as a good person, the guy would tell you, be like, look, man, we're real light on birds right now. Maybe we're in them, maybe we're not. We're going to do everything that we can to put you on a great hunt.
Right.
Okay? Now, the food, the lodging, all that other stuff,
Try to make up
for it, right? We get that. So some people run good businesses. We talked about the deli the other day that's right near us, and we won't say the name of it, but like the guy used to literally just tell you no.
Right.
Right?
No.
You'd be like, hey, man, can I get pickles on that? I'd be like, nah, I don't put pickles on hamburgers. It shouldn't be on there, right? So guess what happened? He's not there anymore.
No.
Right? Because that's a business that then went out because of bad service.
Right.
If you have good service and you have a good business, you're going to be around for a while.
Right.
Same thing goes with these outfitters and charter captains and everything else. I've been on charter trips before. We didn't catch anything. Do you know what we did catch? A buzz and a really good time.
A good time.
A great time because these guys were interactive. They're good people. And man, they burnt the absolute dinosaurs to the ground, driving us around to find fish.
Right.
And look, if somebody was out there just to take your money, they're going to go out. They're going to sit, a mile outside of the dock.
They're not going to run around.
They're not going to go burn their fuel.
No way.
So take that into consideration when you go on these things as well. Well, we've just snowballed into all kinds of stuff. Yeah. State of Maryland. I want to say this because I have heard grumblings from both sides. Right. The state of Maryland, when they started 2 or 3 years ago with Youth Day, also caveated in for waterfowl, and I don't know if this is the way for turkey. I don't believe it is. But they caveated in a military hunt, veterans hunt.
I don't think it's for turkey.
I don't think it's for turkey.
Just waterfowl.
I think it's just for waterfowl. And maybe for deer. I don't think it's even for deer hunting right now.
Right. Well,
for waterfowl.
Not only that, before we get too far, is before they added the military to it, they added a second day, too.
They did, yeah. So there was an early Youth Day and a late Youth Day.
Right.
Which is awesome because now, especially in waterfowl hunting, man, you can get into a blind of a bunch of gung-ho shooters, and the kid might be forgot about it. Let's be honest. Like, maybe it's just him and his dad in the corner.
Right.
And that kid doesn't really get an opportunity because, old Steve Sharpshooter over here is just blasting away as soon as birds get to the hole.
Right.
Because some people just don't care, right? They're just like, I'm going to shoot my birds, and that kid's whatever. That kid then has an opportunity to experience a full hunt by himself.
Right.
And get the opportunity. And there's why those days are made. Let's not forget the reason why Youth Days are around in the first place. Right. Same thing in the deer hunting woods. Can you imagine not having a Youth Day in the deer hunting woods?
No.
Especially during gun season.
No.
Like the Orange Pumpkin Army out there on public ground, especially. Like, say if that kid doesn't have the opportunity to hunt private ground or a lease, and the only way he can hunt is by going to public land.
Right.
It's probably not the safest thing.
No. For
a kid to be in that environment.
Or adult.
Or a new hunter, right? Like that's just, those kind of things. Like going back to NWTF. Russ Leaf, and I'll say the world about Russ. Russ does a great job on everything he does. He's a super good guy. Russ also mentors new hunters on a totally separate project where they go to Blackwater Refuge every year and they deer hunt. First-time hunters, okay? And now I've talked with him before. I wish I had more time to do it. And honestly, I'll be blatantly, I don't have the time to mentor, but I wish I did, right?
Right.
And I need to make time. And that's just my fault. Like, I just never made time for it. Those guys are actually taking anywhere from like 10 to 25 first-time hunters, a lot of women, a lot of people who just maybe never had an opportunity to get, introduced to hunting.
Right.
And he puts them through, I mean, it's a class. Like they start with getting their hunting license.
Right.
And the culmination of it is where they get to go hunt on a day that is separated for them.
Right.
On a property, right? And we've seen it, man. Like I've seen some first sea deer kills. I've seen some first whitetail kills, like from that group of people that are really, really trying hard. Now, step back. That goes out to the internet. What do you mean they get a day to hunt by themselves on a piece of ground? Like, just bull. Listen to us when we say this. If we don't get these people involved, we're done.
We're done,
right? And maybe then, Eddie, the excellent hunter, I used a lot of names today. You may have that piece of ground all to yourself. That's it. Maybe everybody stopped hunting because of you.
Right.
And you're like, well, it's the best. Well, guess what? It's gone now. Okay. Because the funds aren't there.
Right.
The money is not there to be able to to buy hunting license. That money that comes from hunting license and be like, oh, well, where's my money go? Look into it. Look into where your money goes.
Yeah. Just get an educated something.
Right.
Educate yourself.
Yeah. And by the way, preaching to the public does nothing besides create issues. If you have a conviction in your heart that says we cannot kill jakes this year, we got to stop killing jakes. If that's a conviction in your heart, get some good evidence and take it to the people that make these decisions. You know what the state of Maryland has every year? They have comment days.
Right. On
they
everything.
open up everything for comments. Have you ever made a comment?
I have.
I have too. And actually, I've got another rabbit hole. I got involved with a what's called a coalition. By involved, I mean I went to one meeting. Okay, for the wrong reason, they were there.
Right.
And they had a lot of followers. It was like, the big super churches where you hear all this stuff. Like, they've got 10,000 people in some super church.
Yeah.
And this dude's up there like making people pass out and resurrecting them on stage and stuff. And you're like, it's a little sketchy. But this dude's rolling around in like a Rolls Royce in like $10 million houses and like a new yacht, right?
You got a real treat when you got invited to that one.
Oh my gosh, man. We're not going to get into that. But like there's right reasons and there's wrong reasons, right?
Right.
Be one of the right reasons, because if you really feel this way, if you have hard evidence on why we should not kill jakes, you have a public forum to discuss that with the state of Maryland.
Always.
Like, or hey, everybody has a delegate.
Right.
Everybody's got a congressman. Everybody's got a senator. Yeah. Like, write to these people.
Reach out.
They
say, actually do listen.
For the most part.
Yes, they can.
Right. So, if it's really something that you have a hard conviction on, by telling everybody in the world they're doing it wrong and creating social media drama, doesn't solve anything.
Via Facebook is not getting anywhere.
You got Facebook lawyers. You got Instagram, models who obviously are not.
Right.
But just because it's on social media doesn't mean it's real.
No.
Well, maybe not. A lot of times, for us, it's like I said, it's a communicative avenue for us to use to push information about our product. By the way, social media has also built our family.
Right.
Legitimately built our family. Like, we have people, just had guys that were from 2 different parts of the world, because of being a part of our little family on social media, got connected and hunted together.
Right.
How awesome is that?
It's awesome.
That's the positive side.
Yeah. As cool as social media is, it's a
and you go down the other side.
Right.
Right.
I mean, it's so,
it's nuts. But I'm not, all right, stepping off my soapbox. Maybe, look, I'm just one guy. And a lot of people might listen to this and be like, I don't care what you have to say, Jesse. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, I don't care what you have to say.
Right.
Which is fine. But all I'm trying to say is look deep in your heart. Deep. I want you to soul search to figure out why you do what you do when you're berating somebody, when you're making fun of somebody, when you're downing other brands. Okay? Right. Like, if you don't like that brand,
don't buy it.
Don't buy it. And if you think that brand should just go into just the abyss, never come back, I don't want to ever see a piece of whatever gear again, don't buy it.
It's easy.
It's easy, right? You don't have to buy it.
You're not supporting them.
You're not supporting them.
So the chances of them disappearing is...
And you know what more than likely is going to happen, though? Donnie. Somebody else going to buy it.
Right.
Right? Because they like it. It's their thing.
Right.
We don't have to all be on the same box. You know how many times I hear like, "What do our competitors, right?
Right.
But they love a good smear campaign. This is with anything,
Right.
Right. Sometimes it's actually pretty funny because they don't have all the information. They put a general broad statement out there,
Right.
Right. Which is pretty cool for us because I live in a world of reality. My wife hates this. I'm like, well, Aaron. You know why I said that? Because I'm a realist.
Right.
And she hates it, right? Like if I get into a fight with her about something and I'll be like, no, you're living in a fantasy land, Aaron. I have reality here, right? So reality is it doesn't matter what you say.
Right.
All you're doing is driving a thicker wedge, hitting it one more time and dividing more people up in the one group that if we could come together, we would be the most powerful voice in the world.
Right.
I don't care if you wear moss yoke. I don't care if you wear Realtree. I don't care if you wear Sika. I don't care if you have a handlebar mustache and you decide that you're going to live out of the back of your Toyota Tundra for 8 months.
Who cares?
To go hunt Rocky Mountain sheep.
Right.
Because that's your conviction.
Yeah.
Have at it, bro.
Yo.
Have at it.
Take me with you.
100%. Like, try something new, right? Do I agree with a lot of those guys? Probably not.
No.
Do you ever see me going back and being like, well, that's dumb? No.
No.
Because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Maybe the name of the podcast is, hey, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters.
Right. We're kind of snowballing here. I had to get this off my chest. Thanks for listening to me. Being a soundboard, coming back and forth on this because I really did, man. It's something that's eating me up right now. And I think it's also, we'll leave with this. I think it's also becoming enough of an issue that a lot more people are bringing this to the table.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is the conversation we're having.
We're
right?
not the only ones realizing 100%. Finally.
Yeah. And I think, look, I'll say this. Every youth hunter out there this year, I hope you kill the nastiest looking Jake you ever killed in your life. Right. And you take that Jake home and you eat it. And you take that fan and you hang all 3 of those tall feathers on the inside up on your bedroom wall because that was your first turkey you ever killed. And this year when you go out and you kill the first deer that you ever killed, for God's sake, I hope it's got spikes. I don't care because that's what got you into this.
Yep.
And if 10 years down the road, you decide, hey, man, there's probably something to managing a deer herd. Because we did it. Yeah. We did it, right? So, like,
you have to.
Now, man, we can go so far. The same guys who have 2 different farms that touch each other.
Right.
Okay? I don't kill anything under 130 inches. Maybe the guy on the right-hand side.
Everything.
And the guy on the left, well, he's filling freezers. You don't know. Maybe that guy's on hard times.
Right.
Right? Or maybe you do know the guy. Maybe he just likes to shoot deer.
Right.
Is he within his state regulations?
Yep.
If he is, shut up.
Nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do about it, right? So then you got the guys on the other side. Man, my family was great for this. Why'd you shoot that little deer? Well, if I ain't shoot him, somebody else is. That's fine. Whatever, right? If that's the mentality you want to take,
right,
have at it.
Right.
Then go shoot whatever it is. Once you start breaking laws, you become a part of the community that just absolutely hurts.
Right.
You are a nuisance to the community. You are also the same guy who's talking about every federal judge around the country letting out convicts early from jail.
Right.
Okay? Don't be a part of the problem. Be a part of the solution.
Exactly.
I'm done preaching, Will. Jim Seeger. Bah! I'm still messed up on this. I got one more thing to say. I'm not stopping without saying this. I said about it, youth. Do you get involved, figure out your way to hunt?
Get it done.
Get it done. Have fun. Be a productive part of the hunting community because right now we are showing all of these kids on social media that it's okay to be that guy.
Yeah.
It's not okay. And I hope that every kid, like, I hope that states are actually taking into their hunter education. Like there should, just like there's social media grooming in professional sports.
Right.
I could only hope that there's like a social media ethics block that goes into everybody's hunter safety courses from now on. Unfortunately, that's where we're at, right? We have to also stay on top of the times. Now, maybe it goes in one ear and out the other, and the guy's going to just get right on social media and blow somebody up.
Right.
Whatever. But if we give them, we have to set a better precedence for this next generation.
No choice.
Okay? That's it. I'm done. Jim Caesar, take us out of here.
Raised in the South, I come up from nothing, I figured it out. They say when I sing, I'm the voice of the South. Give thanks to the Lord, cause I'm making it out. I can't believe I'm living my dream. Early morning flights, the skies are filled up with these whistling wings. Sights that dreams are made of. Look at God's creation. Dust coming in as we struggle to load. Kid number 2 is a hell of a load. Shots going off as they dropping the hood. It's so cold and my call keeps sticking. I'm being precise with the notes I'm picking. My lead is true, so no duck I'm missing. Full choke, so I'm good at a distance. I shoot a retay, I shoot a retay, I shoot a retay, I shoot a retay. Brush up the blind, ain't wasting no time, yeah, we gotta grind. Hitting the trees and bring a few digs and passing to me. Ain't no Beyonce, but these ducks in formation. This ain't no heist, but I swear green's what we chasing. Hey, you ever drove a boat in the morning? Can't think, can't see, can't breathe, cause it's cold and it's fog. 2 strokes and 40s. Start up your engine, get ready to party. It's a dangerous run to the hole. You know where I'm from, so you know how it goes. 25 Mercs and 25 Zeus. Outboard spit smokes when it's cold. This is a timber run, something like timber run. Dodging these logging these trees. Running so fast like we racing for cash in the water. So cold and it's starting to freeze. Could you believe the sight that you see with your eyes when the matters descend through the trees? My soul is at peace. I get so high when the ducks start to fly. I can see what the angel could see. Please do not blame it on me. The ducks don't commit, then we rearranging the digs. Come on, let's turn up the heat. They still ain't committed, then we got a motion the digs. Block swinging left, block swinging right, but keep them in sight. And if we're not doing it right, no second chance, and we just might ruin the flight. We kicking water, ducks dropping harder, tell them kick hard. One him gave in, but still got 10. Working circle, got me nervous. Ain't no stress, we on the X. Watch them banking, swerving, curving. We gotta finish these ducks, they coming in. Watch them run straight out of luck. I'm yelling, take them guns, I'm blazing. 1 + 10 came in, amen. That's a whole lot of mileage. Now 1 left out, we screaming, shout. 1 shot before man limit, I won't forget it, yeah. Now we headed back to the ramp, ducks in the bow of the boat. Chest sticking out like a champ, chest sticking out like a champ. Raised in the South, I come up from nothing, I figured it out. They say when I sing, I'm the voice of the South. Give thanks to the Lord, cause I'm making it out. I can't believe I'm living my dream. Early morning flights, the skies are filled up with these whistling wings.